be ready to go.
All right, it started, right? So yeah, meeting started. So
and I'm looking to see, there's one question and answer already, 19 participants. You're watching. Hey, we kind of have a new location, don't we? Look at this great background. I have houseplants in the back corner, and isn't this nice? Isn't this nice? And I look like I'm glowing. I have lots of good ideas because of this light right here. So everybody, welcome, welcome, welcome. And I took my mask off, so I've got to make sure where the camera is, so I'm looking at you. And I love this topic because I've been a houseplant person for many, many, many years, and I would never tell you the exact number, because you would understand why I get my hair color done on a regular basis. But welcome, welcome everyone. I'm a little early. I'm going to let people keep clicking on. Ooh, we have 25. Welcome, welcome to the Chalet Virtual Learning Center. This has been fun. After I learned the Zoom technique, it got fun again, and so I'm so happy that I have my radio on, so I'm turning my radio off. Oh, this is the other thing. It's really nice because we're not in the learning center, but usually I tell people let's mute our phones. So look, I'm going to practice what I preach. I just muted my phone, so we won't be interrupted while we're doing this. Okay. I'm actually at the merchandising, the marketing manager's desk. So Michi Kustra is one of our wonderful team members, and she came on board several years ago and has just done wonderful things for Chalet. So I'm at her desk. Those are her two cute daughters right there. Aren't they adorable? Yeah, great. Now, I wanted to let you all know, and we've got 28 people. Oh, welcome. This is wonderful. Okay, we have the question and answer column, and then we also have the chat area, and you can put your questions in either of those. What I'm going to do is I'll keep my eyes kind of on some of the questions, and if they're very appropriate to what I've just talked about, I'll try to answer them. If not, I'm going to go in at the end to finish all and answer all the questions that have come in. So thanks, thanks for your patience on this. And we have 31. Welcome, welcome. I'm just chatting to get things, kind of the icebreaker to get people, warmed up, and talking about the question and answer column and also the chat column. I'm gonna address both of those to make sure you get your questions answered. I love that so many people are logging on. I did a segment with Tracy Butler, the weather anchor for Channel 7 Morning News. We've been doing weekly sessions that she posts on her Facebook page. So you go to Channel 7 News Tracy Butler, or Tracy Butler Channel 7 News, and you can go to her webinar page or her video page and watch our segments that we have. But I've been doing this weekly we call it the Garden Chat. And this week we were talking, and I was confessing that because of the wonderful weather this week, I have left my own plants out for another week of beautiful sunshine. And for every day they get, and every hour of outdoor sunshine they get, they're photosynthesizing and storing lots of energy to help get them through our winters when they're indoors. So every bit of energy they store in their roots or in their leaves, they'll make good use of when we get into those dark gray days and the short days of December and January. So don't feel, and what I like is having a few more days, weeks, so that my plants can be really happy before I bring them back in, and they're getting recharged. I personally have several citrus. I have a Meyer lemon. I have a Bear's seedless lime, and then I also have a Calamondin orange. And so I love to get those out in that full sun, for the summer months. I have two enormous, huge Boston ferns, and they're actually a sword fern that I was given as I was in high school, and I was given a start, and I've had these plants. It started with one plant, and I've divided it over the years, and so I have these two enormous ones that go out all summer, and I move those back in, and so usually I'm the one that is running to my car in the parking lot when there's frost threats for that night to get all my plants moved inside. I'm not a good example. So ideally, you want to get your plants moved in before the average date of the first frost, which is it's the 15th of October. So we're a week away right now. We're a week away for that. So I always, and I hope you all were able to see that the handout with all the notes was sent. It might have been sent as a separate email, but I'm hoping Carly, our assistant manager of marketing, was attaching it either to your invitation page or as a separate, and you can print this up. And my introduction, I love the introduction, is that, our plants love to go on vacation outdoors just as much as we do. The warm air, the refreshing rain, and then the unfiltered sunlight, it just totally rejuvenates them. And while they're outside though, when they're outside, they can store tons and tons of energy, like I was just talking about. But unfortunately, they're exposed to insects, and they can bring those back in, when you move them back inside. So I have all kinds of wonderful, tips for you, and I'm going to show you the products. I actually made a list for our marketing team, and you can see the list, and they actually put it on a page of the website, so you can look at at products for the webinar and go right to it, and you can actually order them online. So I'm hoping she sent the list with it. If not, let me know on the question and answer, the chats, or you can also send me an email at Jennifer B, JENNIFERB @chaleznursery.com, and then I'll send you this list so that you have that as well. Okay, so I like to call this the fall curfew, which is the average date of the first frost of the season, and that's an average. Sometimes it can happen earlier, and we've had a few light frosts outside in the last 2 weeks, not enough that damaged my plants. I was watching them real closely. I was nervous though, and so the guideline of when you want to get those plants back inside is when the night temperatures start hitting 45 on a regular basis. That's when you really want to get serious about getting your plants back in. Okay, gradual reintroduction is best, and that means you want to try to get the plants in before you turn the furnace on inside. Now, I personally had my furnace on last week, and then it got warm again, so then the air conditioner's back on. So I always push the limits, and it's not going to hurt it. Now, sudden changes of temperature, whether going very, very high or very, very low, are actually, and also sudden changes in light. So you bring a plant that's been in full sunlight outside and in a dark, shady corner inside. Those can cause stress for the plants. Also, sudden changes in humidity. So you want to help ease the plants into that, or adjust, once you move the plants back in. Okay, now the timing, Delena, it's always controlled by our weather, and so the weather has worked kindly for us and our plants this week in particular. Okay, so now you want to get ready for the move. And that means, and I know people hate it when I say this, you want to clean the windows, wash the windows. And I know how many people out there say, I don't do windows, but it really makes a huge difference. Get the Windex, and I use Windex, paper towel, and a microfiber cloth, and it really makes it work fast. A squeegee too is really cool. So you want to clean the inside and the outside, and that way you make sure you get the highest amount of light. The highest intensity is what you're looking for, the highest intensity. Now, one of the tricks you have to understand is that, if you have a plant right next to a window and it's a little too much light, moving 6 inches away reduces the intensity by half. It works the other way too. If you have a plant that's not getting enough light, once you move back inside, you move it 6 inches closer to a light source, like a window, and it increases the intensity by half. So remember that, when you're helping your plants, adjust. Okay, now, you know, what, don't automatically repot plants right now, because when they go through the change, the environmental change of being outside and moving back inside, that's enough change to go through. The only time I recommend that you actually go ahead and repot right now is if the plants, they've been spoiled by being watered every day while they were outside, especially in this hot summer that we had. They had to be watered every day. And so, if once you bring them inside, the goal is to get them to where you're only having to water once a week. You want them on your schedule. You don't want to be on their schedule. So if after you move them in and you're watching them, and I like to encourage people to follow the rule of keeping in touch, keeping in touch, sort of like when you were first dating your partner, you saw each other, you kept in touch every day. You had coffee one day, you had lunch another day, maybe another day you had dinner, and then you went to a movie. Those are the olden days, pre-COVID. But then you got to know each other. And that's what I want you to do with your plants. Once you move them back in, or if you add a new plant to your collection, you want to touch the soil. Touch that soil. And, oh, I don't have a plant here. Touch the soil, and so you can feel whether it has moisture or not. If it's cool to the touch and your finger's a little, it feels moist, obviously it's moist to the touch. Once it feels dry to the touch, that's time to water it. And you want to get them on that once a week schedule. And plants really adjust, now, if they're wilting, and the horticultural term, you've heard me use this before, is flagging. If it flags in between watering, then that could be a sign or a reason why you would need to repot, put it in a larger pot so it has more soil mass around the roots to stay moist for longer. So only if it's doing, that right now. The logic with why you don't really want to repot right now is anytime you repot, roots are the #1 part of the plant. If roots can grow, need to grow, are unhealthy, need to, heal, they take priority. And as a result, the top of the plant gets ignored. And, and then when the top of the plant gets ignored, then all of a sudden you start seeing yellow leaves, you'll see brown tipping, you may have leaves brown out. So don't tempt that by repotting and, giving the roots a chance to take over. And then the other thing is, as the days get shorter and shorter and shorter, which we're seeing that, and what happens is the plants go into, our houseplants even go into a semi-dormant state, not like our landscape plants that drop all their leaves, they're deciduous, they drop their leaves and go completely dormant, truly dormant, but they slow down, So kind of save that repotting until the days start getting longer, and that's March. March is the best time to repot plants after they've gotten through the winter, and then then March you repot. They get a chance to grow their roots, and it'll take 6 to 8 weeks for the roots to fill in, and then and then if you repot like March 15th, that takes you right up to May 15th when you can put them back outside again. So, but we're don't repot if you don't have to this time of year. Okay, all right, so now, okay, I say in my notes, if you can put a shelf up next to a window, so you have you give the plants a real fighting chance of having the brightest light that they can get, that's wonderful. You can also get plant étagères, that, shelving units that will go, and, so you want to have that. Add ceiling hooks if you have hanging baskets and you want to bring those in, and then plan in advance to increase the humidity around the plants. And that can be done in two ways. My all-time favorite is to just get, they have these wonderful small room humidifiers, and they actually use cold water, and they just diffuse cold water into the atmosphere, and it increases the ambient humidity around the plants. I usually have a lot of my plants in the same room. I like to encourage people to put their plants, in one room together. So the increased humidity just from the plant transpiring increases the humidity for all plants. But then use that room humidifier. It makes a huge difference. Now, if you don't want to go to that, then you can also put, and we call it humidity trays. You can buy humidity trays, or you can create a humidity tray by using the saucer, filling the saucers with gravel, coarse gravel. My favorite, though, is this neat invention. You can help increase the humidity. And these are called the down under plant stands. And here, I'll put this right here. So it says it's down under plant stand. And it's a cool contraption. Okay, and you can see when I hold it this way, see how these posts elevate off the saucer by 1.5 inches. And then this plant stand will hold 500 pounds. So you can put a huge pot on it, and then see how this is adjustable. So this looks like it would fit in an 18-inch saucer. You can bend these and snap these off and then reduce it down so this whole thing would fit into like a 10-inch saucer. And then when you've watered the plant, I encourage people to buy these. So if you have large plants that you don't want to move to a sink or a shower stall to water, you can water them in place, and then the bottom of the pot never sits in water. Because if it's sitting on top of here, you can have water up to 1.5 inches up to the top of this right here. And then that water sitting in the saucer increases ambient humidity around the plants. So I love these, and it's worth every penny of investment to use these for your plants. Okay, they come in this clear plastic. They come in a terracotta color and also a black, so you can match your saucers and they don't stand out like a sore thumb. This is one of the best inventions that they've come up with since I've been working in this industry. And they've been around, I think they came out about 8 years ago. So remember that. It's going to save the plant's root systems, but it's also going to help increase ambient humidity around all your plants. Okay, misting. A lot of people want to buy the spray bottle and mist the plants. To be really honest, it doesn't do much. The thing that I don't like about misting is our water has so highly mineralized that when you mist, you can get like mineral deposits on the leaves, and it only lasts for about 20 seconds, and then it evaporates and goes away. So it helps the human being because it eases their guilt rather than the plant. So I just tell people, don't waste your time. Get a humidifier. It works, and a room humidifier, so you can increase it right around the plants. Okay, so now the next section we've gotten to is now is when you want to clean up the plants while they're still outdoors. And this weekend's going to be beautiful, so you can get that done today too. And so you want to wash all the leaves off, and try to get anything that's not on the leaves, wash them off with the hose and sprayer, and then inspect the leaves for diseases and insects. And then that's where you're going to prune off anything that's diseased, and then look for the insects. Now, my favorite is to use 2 different systemic insecticides, and the first one on the list are the Granules, and that's this brand right here, and it comes in 2 sizes. This is the Bonide brand Systemic Granule Insect Control. This is the 1 pound container, and I like this because it's $12.99 for the 16 ounces. And then it also comes in a smaller one. These are exactly the same, but just different size bottles. And they call this one the Systemic Houseplant Insect Control. And this is 8 ounces, and this is 16 ounces. And for $9.99, it's 8 ounces, $12.99, which is $3 more, you get double the amount. So this is the value to use. And you need to use 2.5 tablespoons. That's big T tablespoon. And you're sprinkling, these are granules. You want to sprinkle these granules over the surface of the soil, and then water through them. And you just pour the water evenly through all those granules. It dissolves the insecticide, takes it down into the root system and kills any insects that are in the roots. It also kills like any ants that have gotten into the pots over the winter sitting on the patio, any pill bugs, any fungus gnat larvae that are feeding on the organic matter that has the fungus on it, and it kills them on contact. So that's going to clean them up. The other cool thing it does is the roots actually absorb the systemic insecticide, and it stays in the plants for 2 months, 8 whole weeks, and it will get rid of any sucking insects like aphids, scale, mealybugs. It does not take care of spider mites though. So what I like to do, and a lot of my plants get spider mites because the eggs stay dormant. Did you know that? Eggs stay dormant for up to 5 years. I know, isn't it? You're like, oh, that's horrible. But so, yeah, so on top of using the granular, I like to use the systemic insecticide, miticide, and fungicide. And it comes in a ready-to-spray bottle, and it also comes in a hose-end sprayer. And this is the Bio-Advanced Insect Disease and Mite Control. And I love the hose-end sprayer, especially if you have a lot of plants outside. You just hook it to the hose, turn the water on, and then you have to unlock this with this little tab right there. See, and then you turn it on. It's like a fire hose. It's so cool. You just spray everything to the point of drip off. I have 10 plants outside. I had all 10 plants done in 15 minutes. And I would not have been able to do it that quickly with this. And this is a hand sprayer. Now they recommend that you do not use this inside. And so that's why I like to treat the plants before I bring them in and let them dry. And then this stays in the parts of the leaves that were sprayed for 30 days. So I actually sprayed mine 2 weeks ago, and I'm going to spray them again this weekend and let them dry. So then I know they're taken care of for the next 30 days. So if any eggs hatch, especially if spider mites, it's up in the leaves right now. Any insect, even a baby insect that's sucking the juices of the plant gets killed. I love this stuff. So this is how you really clean them up. Now, if you've got anything that's edible, if you have anything that's edible, you can use the, just like an insecticidal soap, but you have to do that once a week for 3 weeks in a row. So you kill the insects the first time you spray. You spray again the next week. You kill any insects that have hatched from eggs. And then the third time is like an insurance policy to make sure. Or if you're for fungus gnats, this works. And this is called mosquito bits. This is BT, Bacillus thuringiensis, that's coated on these little cork particles. And so you can sprinkle this over the soil and water it in. And the BT stays in the soil for 1 month and kills any like fungus gnats, in there. But it doesn't kill the other insects. But fungus gnats, and that's a real problem. I can't tell you the number of people that have been coming in of people that have had problems with fungus gnats already. So either the systemic granules or this will take of that. Now, if you do want a systemic that you can use indoors, this is just the insecticide that was in the other one I just showed you. This is called the Rose and Flower Insect Killer. But see on the label it says it's also cleared for use on and approved for use on houseplants. And you can spray this indoors. It is cleared for use indoors. So that. Now, the other thing I just saw this product sometimes slugs can get into the containers, and you don't know it until you bring it in and you start seeing holes in your leaves after the plants have been inside. You're like, what is causing that? You don't see any insects, but if you look closely on the top of the soil, what they'll do even is they'll hide under the edges of the pots, like a rolled edge of a pot, slugs. So I like to sprinkle Sluggo Plus on top of the soil as well. And if there's any slugs, they're attracted to this, they eat it. And then this has the iron phosphate that kills slugs, kills their appetite when they eat. And you know these little particles, they're made of flour, sugar, and water. It's like pasta. It's like a sweet pasta. And then the iron phosphate's embedded into it. And then the plus has spinosad, which is also embedded into it. And it's an insecticide that when the insects crawl past it and they get on their bodies or they ingest it, it causes, it kills them, you know, it kills them. So, and it's earth-friendly natural. So it's actually derived from a bacteria that only is formed in rum vats. I know. The way they figured this out was down in Jamaica. And they went into an abandoned rum distillery and there were no insects, which is impossible in Jamaica because there's insects everywhere in Jamaica. And so they did all this scraping and stuff and they realized it was spinosad. So that's what's in here. So that these are good things to clean, you know, to clean up all the plants. Okay, so now here we go. Okay. So that takes care of cleaning them up. All right, now the next thing you want to do is acclimate. It's called acclimation. And so the steps to acclimating the plants, you know, when you bring them in, it's going to take 6 to 8 weeks for the plants to acclimatize. And that means adjust from one climate, outdoor climate, to the indoor climate. Try to put them in as bright a room as you can, as close to the windows as possible while they're going through the acclimation. And as they're adjusting, you know, move them a little further back and a little further back and a little further back, and do that over, you know, over the next 6 to 8 weeks. And then what happens, the acclimation process, they will slough off, or slough off means they'll let older leaves, you know, well, the best way to say it is they make them jump overboard. And when they realize they don't have enough of the asset of light, they're going to make the old guys jump. And they're going to say, you know what, we don't have enough to go around. So when you were at the tips and up at the top of the plant, you were great, you old guys. But now you're inside the center of the plant, you're not getting as much light, and you're using our water and our nutrients. You know, we don't need you anymore. So with what's on all plant parts, there's like two kind of channels that go into each plant part. There's the xylem, which is the water, and I always do this as and say this, the water is roots out to the leaves. And then there's the phloem, and they run right next to each other. The phloem, the leaves are photosynthesizing. They make sugars and carbohydrates, and then it goes down through the phloem to the roots, where they pay the roots. The roots say, okay, you can stick around because you're photosynthesizing. And then they give nutrients back. Okay, when they've tagged a plant to have to jump overboard, they tighten the water down. Sort of like when we brush our teeth and we want to save water, so we let the water just trickle in the sink. And you know, it doesn't really work. But anyway, they make the water trickle into the leaf. But they leave the phloem open so they can pull all the nutrients out, especially the nitrogen. Nitrogen's water soluble, so they pull that out. Once they get it all out, the leaf turns yellow, and once it turns yellow, they shut the water in, the xylem and the phloem down, and then the leaf turns brown. They also set up an incision layer where the stem, you know, the petiole is what attaches the leaf to the main branch. Then all of a sudden the leaf just drops off. So that's what makes people nervous about the acclimation process when people bring a plant and they change it. Like when you buy a plant from a greenhouse and bring it to your home, you're witnessing that acclimation process. So don't worry, it's going to happen for about 6 to 8 weeks. And it's not unusual for plants to lose maybe as much as 5% of the leaves that they had, but don't worry about it. They'll be fine. Okay, now one thing that can help, and usually you'll hear people talking about stop fertilizing, you know, as the days are getting shorter and shorter and shorter, but you can help a plant acclimate a little better by giving it some nutrients. And my favorite is the Dynagrow brand, and this is the Grow plant food, and it's a 7-9-5 fertilizer component, macro fertilizer. Those are the majors, and nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. But what makes this better than all the other products that we have out there is that it has 11 micronutrients. It's phenomenal. Now, before we brought this into the store, we always had Schultz. And Schultz was my go-to because it was the one and only that had micros, and it has 6 micros, and it's at 10, 15, 10, and it has an eyedropper, and you use 7 drops in a quart of water. And I'm the only geek that that has counted the number of drops in an eyedropper. So there's 15 in a full eyedropper. So, so when you're mixing it up, so either of these are great. This is like the winner in my book these days, but this is still the tried and true. And like Dynagrow has an orchid one, and I'm going to make it focus. Okay, the orchid one is 786. It is so close to the grow fertilizer. You can interchange. This is kind of a marketing thing, so you can interchange. And then I do want to show you the cactus from the Dr. Schultz. Succulents don't need near as much nitrogen as our regular foliage plants do in our orchids, and so this is the cactus mix, and it's a 277, and also 7 drops in a quart of water. Now, another great product is called Super Thrive. And Dr. Jack Thompson, that's that man right there. Dr. Jack Thompson invented this years and years ago, and he realized that plants produce vitamins, and to help themselves, and when they're in stress. And so when he realized that, and it was in his research, he pulled the vitamins out and then was using them on other plants and found that it really helped the plants. So interesting, because this is not classified as a fertilizer, it doesn't have to have any of the ingredients listed. However, Dr. Thompson, he passed away, I think it's been 3 years, maybe it's been 4 years ago. His daughter took over the company, and she did a cool thing. I just noticed her new packaging, and she honors her dad, which is really cool, but she put the ingredients on here. And so the nitrogen is 5%, and it's a vitamin B1, and then in the form of thiamine hydrochloride. And so kudos to her. But all you need is 1 to 2 drops per gallon of your fertilizer mix. And this really does the trick, and it helps plants acclimate more quickly. When I learned about this, the bonsai guys carried this product around in little brown eyedropper bottles in their pockets. And whenever they repot bonsai and do root pruning, they let the plant soak in a solution of Super Thrive. And then we did a test here where we had 3 hanging baskets, and we used one where nothing was used, and then regular fertilizer, and then fertilizer with Super Thrive. Oh my goodness, it's true. I called Dr. Thompson and told him about it. This is when he was still alive, and he was so cute. He goes, "Would you write a letter and tell me that?" So anyway, it's a great product. So add that as the transitioning things to help your, and then I would just use that. Keep using it once a week for the, every time you water the plants, and you'll keep them really happy and really healthy going through the off season. All right, so now, to prune or not to prune. I'm watching the time here. Oh God, I'm doing great. It's just 10:30. Okay, so to prune or not to prune. Lots of times the plants have grown significantly when they're outside. If you don't have the room to move the larger plant back in where it was, you can prune, but the bad thing about pruning right now is pruning is technically a stimulator, a growth stimulator. So when you cut the tip of the plants off, you're removing the terminal bud with the hormone in it that prevents any lateral branches from opening up and growing. When you remove that, you could trigger new growth in the new growth for the plant. And as the days are getting shorter and shorter, you're not going to get the best new growth coming back. So I like to encourage people to I should have done this lecture a month ago, but if you prune, the month before you bring them back in to size them down, then the new growth that forms, they have the terminal buds that will keep any additional new growth. So if you can not prune, don't, and then wait to do any major pruning and major sizing until next March, and then, you know, and or hold off until the end of April to do the pruning before you can move them back outside again. Okay, so that's a real that's a big debate, you know, all the time. Okay, so now do not overwater the plants. I just skipped a section here. Okay, do not overwater the plants when you get them inside. Overwatering means watering every day in a row. That's overwatering. When you do that, you tend to clog the air spaces in the soil and it drowns the roots. Don't overwater by letting pots sit in saucers of water. And really try hard to get it on your schedule of only having to water once a week, you know, all of your plants. But a lot of people really do not understand watering, and they water too much. They water too much. So once a week, unless they're wilting down. Okay, so here we go. And okay. All right. Now, to prevent this, again, to prevent too much shock, you know, when you're moving them back in, you know, expose them gradually to the reduced light levels of indoors. Put them in as bright an area as you can initially, leave them there a week, then move them to the lower light levels. And then the plant doesn't react with as much shock. You'll lose a few leaves, but you don't lose as many as if you put them in a really dark corner. Okay, again, don't overwater. All right, okay, here we go. You know what? It looks like I've gone through all the notes here. I'm making sure I've shown everything. Oh, I wanted to show you a new product from the yellow sticky trap people. And these are called yellow sticky stakes. And it's really neat. If you do have fungus gnats out there that are flying around, and they tend to go to our computer screens, our light sources, any water like dripping faucets, and people think they're fruit flies. They're not. It's a fungus gnat. And using the systemic granules will kill the larva. And then if the adults are out flying around, you want to use the yellow sticky traps. And what's neat about this is these have these cool stakes. And see, it has a pointed end right here. They can go right in the soil. And these little clips are where you attach, and you have these little sticky cards. And let me show you what they look like. These little sticky cards. Okay, these are little sticky cards. And you can see the wax paper. You'll peel the wax paper off, and it has wax paper on both sides. You'll peel that off, it's really sticky. And then stick one right in here. So it just holds it vertically. It was at an angle, but at least it's vertical, so when the adult and fungus gnats are flying by, they see the yellow, they're attracted to it, and they fly onto it, and they stick to it, and then it kills them. So you want to reduce those populations by doing that. And there's 7 of these stakes in there. If you have a tall plant, you need to get the stakes up higher. These insert into here, so you can get a taller section. It's a cool new tool, brand new from them. So I wanted to introduce that to you. So these are good. I'm looking to see. I don't see any questions, which is encouraging. It's either encouraging or it's not. Holy smokes! I just noticed we have 47 people. This is like being up in the learning center. Wow! Thank you all for doing this. I'm gonna check the chat box. Hold on. Ooh, here. This is what I need to be looking at. Here we go. Here's the question. Oh no, you're missing the audio. Oh, I hope that got fixed. Okay, what to do with succulents? Succulents, you want to use the systemic granules on them. They actually respond really nicely to the insect disease and mite control. It's water-based, so it's not going to damage, and it's not going to wash any of the cuticle off of the succulent. So I love these. Okay. Next question. I have gray fuzzy areas on my gardenia that my husband bought for me on Mother's Day. Lots of yellow leaves. Sprayed them with neem oil. Is this correct? Is it aphids? And can I bring it inside? The yellow fuzzy areas are actually, it's actually powdery mildew. It's powdered mildew. Now, if it's white cottony looking, that's mealybugs. And so fuzzy areas, gray fuzzy, you know, that almost could be white cottony. That, you know, but anyway, use the systemic granules on it. With gardenias, gardenias like to get dry in between waterings, okay, and they also like more acidic soil. So every time you water, again, you're gonna use the Dynagrow fertilizer, 1 cap in a gallon, and then also 1 cup of black coffee. Gardenias really love the black coffee, and no cream, no sugar though, and that will really help. The neem oil, I am not that. Neem oil is a repellent more than the neem oils that we sell here at Chalet is more of an insecticidal soap that's derived from neem oil. So you get the repellent nature of the neem oil, and then but you have to coat all the insects with it, and a lot of times it's hard to do that. That's why I really think I really recommend using the systemic, because it's absorbed in, and anything sucking the juices gets killed, and it lasts for 30 days. So I really go for that. Now here we go. I'm going to keep scrolling down to see. Here we go. Didn't get the handout. Okay, Cynthia Tiloni, I'll send that to you afterwards. But check. You might have had a second email come after the invite email, or it might have been on the bottom of your invitation to the webinar, and you'll see the handout at the very bottom. Okay, and you just click on it and open it up. Okay, this is from Fred. Pertaining to indoor houseplants, I'm seeing tiny dark insects flying around my houseplants. Ooh, Fred, I hope I answered that with the presentation. Those are fungus gnats. You know, what are they and how can I mitigate this? I so enjoy these sessions. Oh, this is Anne Marie Chamberlain. Oh, thanks, Anne Marie. That's fungus gnat, and that's the systemic granules, and then the sticky traps to really reduce the populations of them, the yellow sticky traps. So okay, so is that product also used for insects? Oh, I mean for succulents. Yes. This was an anonymous attendee. And what would the dose be? Oh, okay. For the systemic on a succulent, and sometimes it's hard to get it on top of the soil because succulents have spines on them sometimes, but it's 2.5 tablespoons per 6 inches of pot diameter. So if it's a smaller pot succulent, like it's a 4-inch pot, I would just do 2 tablespoons. And then just water it in, and then it's absorbed in the plant in 5 days. And boy, it's great for succulents because they keep it in them, and then any insects, and it's hard to see them, and they suck the juices, they get killed. I love it. Okay, now, are mosquito bits and Sluggo Plus organic? They're organic, mosquito bits and Sluggo Plus, they're what we call earth-friendly natural rather than organic, but that's pretty much the same, and they can be, yes, both of those can be used with vegetables, absolutely. Okay, you keep plants in sunny area all season inside? Sure. Oh my gosh, this was Cynthia. Absolutely. I have a fiddle leaf fig that has yellow spots and brown edges. What should I do? And this is Tanya Haskett. Okay, fiddle leaf figs. Oh my gosh, I get gray hair from fiddle leaf plants, fiddle leaf figs. There's so much bad information out there. People are scared to death about overwatering. So as a result, they never get watered enough. You want to get them on that once a week watering regime using the Dynagrow with them. That really perks them up. Dynagrow and Super Thrive really helps them. Okay, there's the Super Thrive. I don't think I put Super Thrive on the list. Well, I'll figure that out. Anyway, this works great. So you want to get the plant to a shower stall or a bathtub. Water, let it drain. Water, let it drain. Water, let it drain. You want to make sure you really hydrated that root ball, and I would do that 5 times. Then get it out back into the decorative container or the saucer using the down under plant stand. The down under plant stand, so that then each time you water it, when watering it once a week, you know, you're going to water enough and water slowly so the water goes through the soil and actually hydrates it. Once it gets dry to the touch, if you dump a whole quart or quart and a half of water on it, it goes to the edge where the cell is pulled away from the pot and runs right through. And people think that they've watered enough because they've watered enough for the water to go through and down into the saucer. You want to drizzle it in and then make sure it's really getting hydrated. And then you know, that is all the time. Yellow spots and brown edges on fiddle leaf figs. Go ahead and, you know, get the fertilizer on them and get on a better watering routine with them. Okay, what's the best kind of water to use on plants? That's a great question. This is Gail and Collins asked this. The best kind of water, you don't want to use any water that's softened. You know, if you have softened water, that has too much sodium in it, and don't use softened water. Culligan, you know, and just our tap water, Lake Michigan water is wonderful, but it does have a lot of minerals in it. So it's high pH. It's a high pH. So you know, add that cup of coffee to lower the pH, and it works beautifully. It works absolutely beautifully for you. I had someone earlier this summer was wondering why her plants were doing so well, and she just couldn't understand because she was buying alkaline water. She was paying, like, I think $5 a bottle for this alkaline water, which is great for us, but it's horrible for the plants because it made it way too alkaline, and the plants weren't getting any of the nutrients they needed. So I told her the coffee trick, and her plants recovered within 4 weeks. So that's okay. Would you suggest moving peppers from a pepper plant before bringing it inside? Removing the peppers? Not necessarily. I mean, unless you have pets, cats that might eat them. This is Ed. Peppers and, you know, plants like that have crops on them. Crops. You can tell I'm an agricultural student here. You know, that have, you know, they need really bright sunshine, and they're the ones that are going to not do as well indoors if you don't have them in a really full sunny location, especially if they've been outside in full sun. They'll acclimate really bad, and they'll probably drop the peppers and half their leaves. But no, you don't have to remove the peppers. They're the ornamental part. Okay, I've used neem oil before, and my begonias did not do well. Do you use neem oil at all? The problem with neem oil is it's oil based, and a lot of plants, especially begonias that have more very succulent leaves, and when I say succulent, they're not like cactus, but they can react. The oil can penetrate through the cuticle and cause them to dry out. So that's okay. Now, Joan, reacclimation is Super 5 used in addition to Dynagrow? Yes, I like to encourage people to use both of those, or it is an alternative. You use the Super Thrive. Here's the Super Thrive again. You use the Super Thrive with fertilizer. That's how it's recommended. It works best with fertilizer. Okay. Good. These are such great questions, and I still have 41 people here. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Are mosquito beds and Sluggo Plus organic? Oh, did I do that already? I did that already. Wait, this went. Okay, here we go. Can you please show Super Thrive again? Oh, okay. I asked her that one. Oh, here. I did it once. I'll do it again. There's the Super Thrive again, right there. I've got it focused. Okay. There's Dr. Thompson inside, and then it's I can't read backwards. It's $15.99, but it goes a long way. Okay. Now, what about bringing herbs indoors? Yes, you can bring herbs indoors. Oh, wait. Here's another one. I skipped this one. The email that had the document came from Carly Thalman. That's right. Thank you. Oh, you're telling everybody that. Okay. What about bringing herbs indoors? Herbs you can bring indoors, but be forewarned. They need to be in really bright sunny windows, or they sort of fail. Basil kind of fails pretty quick on you unless you have it in a really sunny south window or west window. The one I have the best luck with, or the ones I have the best luck with, are the ones that are a little bit woodier. So rosemary, it does great until the very end of March, and then they start getting stretched, and then they get powdery mildew. Thyme also works really well inside. I've had good luck with, personally with tarragon. I love tarragon and chickens, and and dill gets a little leggy, but you can always start that from seed. You can start that from seed in a sunny window. So okay, okay, I think I did all that. Here's some chats. Let me pull up the chats too. Okay, we're gonna make this over here. I'm gonna bring this over. Oh, what did I do? Chats. Oh no, I lost the chat box. There it is. Okay, okay. Fiddle leaf, big yellow spots and dead brown. I touched on that. Can I use systemic granules on my orchid mix? Yes, yes. And you can use the systemic granules. This is Anne Marie. Systemic granules on your orchid mix, and also yellow sticky traps. Okay, the document was emailed. Oh, I think I'm doing the same one. Oops, for fungus gnats. Okay. Oh, here we go up there. Do I need a specific fertilizer for citrus? No. This was this is from Hannah. On my citrus, I use the Dynagrow, and then I also use the Coffee Trick, and that works great. Do I recommend horticultural oil? Ooh, no. Jennifer Swain. Not on houseplants, not horticultural oil on houseplants. No. It's too oily. It's way too oily. Okay, and this is from Catherine. Oh, I'm right on time, you guys. Should you use systemic insect killer together with the insect disease and mite control? Yes, I use both of those, because you get, the spray, the insect disease and mite control. It's on the leaves immediately, killing anything that's there. And then you have the long-term 2-month application for the systemic granules. These are such wonderful questions. Okay, thank you for a very helpful, informative presentation. Your handout is super helpful too. Oh, Marianne Wolf, thank you. Okay, and all right, everybody, I think I did it. And oh, we had 19 question and answers, so I did all those and did the chats. Let me check to make sure if we have any more questions and answers. Oh, here's more. What is the coffee trick, and can it be used on all plants? This is Cynthia Taloni again. The coffee trick is you use 1 cup of black coffee. That's liquid black coffee out of your coffee pot. No cream, no sugar, and you mix that in 1 gallon of water. So 8 ounces of coffee with its acidity into 128 ounces, which is what's in a gallon of water. That is the perfect ratio to drop the pH from our 7.4 to 7.6, which is what our water pH is naturally, down to 6.75. And it's such a cool trick. I tested it with a pH meter. It was so cool. Okay, and thanks a bunch. Oh, from Yoang. Okay, great. And I think I did it all, you guys. Oh, wait, there was one more question and answer. Oh, that's it right there. And then let me go back to the chat box. Did I? Okay, thank you for helping in our presentation. This is great. All right. Hey, it's 10. Oh, yeah, it's 10 minutes till 11. And we still have 39 people. I thank you for supporting our learning center in this virtual way. This has been a fun way to kind of get around the COVID, and I miss seeing you all. That's the hard part. I don't get to see you all. So, be sure and come in and watch our emails. If you have any other questions, you can always send it to hello@chaletnursery.com. You can also call Chalet. That goes directly to our customer call center. And then they direct the calls to the people that can answer your questions. Come visit us at the Plant Information Center. It's the converted nursery office, and you can't come to the doors. You have to come around the back side where we have the windows, and so that's how we can ensure a social distancing. And then watch also for our upcoming events. We're still going to be doing our fun preview party, but it's going to be by reservation, and we're going to be doing it Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, starting November 5th. I think it's 5th. I think that's that Thursday. But you do have to make a reservation so we can control the numbers of people that are inside. So we're making it work. We're making it work. And we really appreciate you sticking with us and enjoying, you know, all the things that we're offering to you. So thank you all, and thank you for staying tuned. Oh, I still have 35 people. Thank you so much. It's great to have you here. So I'll stay on another few minutes if you have any other questions that you want me to take care of. So and yeah. Oh, the other thing is, you know, we're getting ready for the holidays and Christmas tree season. So it's gonna, stay tuned to Chalet. Okay. Thank you so much. I'm gonna go ahead and just sign off. Thanks everybody. Bye-bye now. Bye.